Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome to What's a Tea, South Suburban Family Shelter. My name is Celeste. I am a bilingual community educator here at South Suburban Family Shelter. I've been here for almost 2 years now. For those who are joining us and don't know who we are yet, South Suburban Family Shelter provides services to people who have been affected by domestic violence. And then these What's the Tea episodes we have every Tuesday. So usually what we do every Tuesday at 2 p.m., we have now changed the time from 1 p.m. to 2. So at 2 p.m., we usually interview somebody from a different department of our agency. Today, we're going to do it a little bit different because we are celebrating Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we're doing a couple of different things this month. But today, I do have the pleasure to introduce to you all a very special guest with us today. She's been through, I think it's safe to say she's been through quite a bit in her life, and she's been through a lot of obstacles that she's overcome. She's a very strong woman, courageous and determined. So she's here to tell us a little bit about her journey, what inspired her to reach her goal, and some of the obstacles that she's faced. So I have the pleasure to introduce to you all Angela. Angela, can you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever it is you want to share?
Okay. My name is Angela. I was in a DV relationship for a few years. I went through the program. I have 6 beautiful kids and 5 daughters and 1 son. And now I am a RN nursing student who graduates in June. So that's a little snapshot of my life right now.
Okay, great. So 6 children. Am I mistaken? The boy was the last one?
No.
Oh, okay. So I have 2 kids of my own, 2 boys.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, I would like to have a lot of kids. Every time I tell somebody that, I would love to have a lot of kids, a lot of people are surprised just because they really are my passion. So I can relate with you in that, I would love to have 6 kids. I would love to. But this whole pandemic and everything has kind of changed my perspective on that. It's not that easy. I do acknowledge that. It's definitely not that easy. So good for you. So I do want to ask you a couple of questions. How did the program here at South Suburban Family Shelter, you mentioned that you've been through this program, you've been in a DV relationship before. So definitely thank you for being here and for sharing this information.
Sure.
Before we get started, I do want to tell the viewers, anybody who's watching, this might be a little bit triggering for anybody watching, especially those who maybe have been in a situation like this before. But I definitely want to emphasize that our services are here for whoever needs them. If anybody feels that they may benefit from these services that we offer, please, I encourage you to call us and seek help, seek services, whatever it is that you need. So Angela, how did the program here at South Suburban Family Shelter help you find your strengths?
The help of, I want to say, the co-workers, the encouragement. There was lots and lots of support and resources that I did not know about. Just having someone and being safe, most importantly, me and my children being safe, helped a lot to get to where I am today.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've learned is that we do have wonderful staff. A lot of our staff are really here to help, and they're really motivated in what they do. And so speaking of being motivated, what motivated you to find your own resilience and your own strength within you?
Well, okay, I had 4 daughters at first, and in the midst of the DV relationship, I was pregnant with my only son. And while I was pregnant with my only son, the day that broke everything was there was a rape, and he pushed me onto my stomach, and I ended up getting 8 stitches in my face. But my most concern was my son okay? I just kept thinking, was my son okay? Was my son okay? Is my son okay? The ambulance came, is my son okay? Do you hear a heartbeat? Go to the doctor, is my baby okay? So with that, I had to fight for him. I have never fought for myself as much as I fought for my son. And I kept thinking, if my son can be okay, this is my way out. Because I cannot, this is the only son I got. And I hate to say it like that, but he was the one who pulled me through. I just wanted to see his face. I wanted him to make it. He was the one who said, come on, mommy, you can do this. And he was actually my strength to lead that relationship.
That's amazing. That's amazing on so many levels because, you know, from studying DV and from what I've learned and from what I've heard, one of the most dangerous and lethal times to leave a relationship is when you're pregnant. And then also, you know, when you do leave, it's even more lethal then because now the abuser has lost their power and control and they're going to do whatever it takes to get it back. And so, you know, that's really courageous of you to leave in a time like that. But, you know, it's definitely understandable that your children, your son is what motivated you. You want what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think we talked about this before is that we will do so much for our kids. We'll go above and beyond to make sure that they're good. But to do something for ourselves, you know, self-care, that's a little bit more difficult, you know, when it really comes to anything. And so that's something that I can definitely relate with is when it comes to, you know, the best for my children, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's really amazing. That's really interesting. So that's really what motivated you. And so one thing that I've heard from you when speaking about this interview with my supervisor, she did mention that, you know, she's met you before and the thing that stood out to her was that you really took it all in. So you took in all your information, all the resources that were provided, you used them all, you know, to the best of your ability. And so what inspired you to stay committed and to use your resources for the best?
Well, it was a lot because by the time I was with you guys, I was at my lowest of low. I had went through postpartum twice. I had gotten so small. I didn't look myself. I didn't do self-care at all. So when I got into the program, they offered me all these different things that I wasn't aware of, and counseling and classes, and we got this and we got that. So I felt like the biggest part was leaving. Now that I've left, what am I going to do now? And I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know what my future held, but I'm going to take in everything that these people got to offer, and we're going to see what happens then. And that's what I did. I took everything, all the financial classes of what to do now, the resumes, they gave me all the tools I needed, basically. Whatever I needed, somebody was there to give me a hand. So I said, okay. I just went for it.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This to me is another thing that, you know, was amazing to me because to hear that somebody took in all their resources, I think a lot of us, whether we're in school, you know, wherever it is that we are, we kind of just get by and we do what we need to do to get by. But you, on the other hand, you took it all in, you absorbed everything, you learned from everything, you made sure that you were going to get out of this situation and, you know, get out of it doing good. And so that's amazing. What advice would you give somebody who is entering the program now? And what would you tell them? How can they maximize their opportunities at South Suburban Family Shelter?
Well, I would tell them you've made your biggest step. The biggest step is to leave because it's so hard. You go back and forth, and it's almost like, I hate to say it like it's an umbilical cord, but you're almost tied to this person. I was tied to him because it was a marriage. We had toddlers. I had a baby. So it was like, it's a connection that I didn't know how to get out of. So when it comes to somebody else, I want to tell them to take that leap. You get that fresh air you need it. No matter if you see what's going to happen or not, take that leap of faith and take in everything. And you get the safety. You have a peace of mind that you haven't had in so long. You know, I didn't even know I would have transitional housing. And once I did, those first couple of nights were like, wow, it's something that money can't buy. That having that safety and security and that peace in your home is priceless.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine when you're, trying to flee a situation like this and you're thinking about, well, how am I going to feed my children? How am I going to pay my rent? There's so many, basic necessities that a person has to think about. But South Suburban Family Shelter will help you with those basic necessities. And I hear you saying, South Suburban Family Shelter did this and South Suburban Family Shelter did that. And, maybe you couldn't have done it without them. But the reality is that South Suburban Family Shelter couldn't do it without you. So, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. There's nothing we can do. And so it was really up to you to take in all the information. It was you. Everything was you. So you took in the information, you did what you could with it, and you got yourself and your family out of that situation. And I think that's just so wonderful. So you did mention some obstacles to leaving. Like you said, you did that first step of leaving the situation. Because there's so many obstacles there. There's so many things that for some people, it might even be easier to stay in a situation than to make that decision of leaving.
Yeah.
So can we talk about maybe what were some of those obstacles to leaving?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned before, the control that your partner has. So after I left, he wanted that control back, and he tried to utilize that within our marriage, because now that I was gone, now he has the right to share children. Now he has the right to have visitation. Now he has the right via the court to know my address. And he fought tooth and nail. And it was heart-wrenching, because it's like, I had my baby by myself. I left when I was 7 months pregnant. So now that I have my baby, now the court said, well, now he's a father. He has a right to your child. He has to see your child. So these things broke me, because this is my baby. I don't want him to be around this person, but the court say he has that right. So he tried using that control. He tried everything. He's tried to say that, well, she has unstable housing, and he fought against it for years. I can actually say years he fought against it, but
you did it, and here you are now.
Yeah, it's over now.
Yeah, so not only were there obstacles to leaving, but even after you made that decision to leave this situation, here comes some more obstacles at you, and you got those right out the way, and you did everything that you could, and here you are now. So we'll talk about all your accomplishments as well and everything that you've done. But I want to ask you, what has this journey meant for you? What have you learned from it?
Oh boy, it's meant everything. It has meant everything to me, because you're talking about the cycle was so bad. Like, I've been through so much with him, just even financially. So it changes you as a person when you're in a traumatic situation for years. And it's like, you don't even realize how bad the storm is until you tell somebody a story. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? Are you kidding me? And then you tell them another story and another story and another story. And it's like, they looking at you like you're crazy. And so you like, well, shoot, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You should have seen me when I was in 2010, And so to get out of that and to live a normal life and to be outside, and my car is not damaged, from cut tires. I'm not getting all these phone calls. The drama is at a zero. And it's like you almost find yourself again. You're almost reborn. You get to enjoy life and enjoy your children, because I wasn't able to enjoy my kids in a situation like that. It's like you're almost in a house with cigarette smoke every day. You can't breathe. And so now that I have the opportunity to breathe fresh air consistently, and I can smile and it's genuine consistently, it means everything to me. And I take everything, I appreciate everything, the moments that I wasn't able to appreciate. Christmases, Thanksgiving, now I go overboard. Now I take 1,000 pictures of my kids all the time, the smiles all the time.
Yeah, so I can see that this has definitely been a humongous shift in your life. Like you said, from not being able to breathe then to now being able to enjoy everything and take everything in. So you say that you've changed as a person. How do you think that, in what ways do you think that you've changed from day one when you did come into Sanctuary and come to South Suburban Family Shelter? would you say you're a different person now?
Yeah, I remember interviewing with Rebecca, and I wasn't even there mentally, and she
Okay.
just asked questions, and I had my daughter. She was around 3 at the time. She was running around, tearing the room up, and I'm just crying, like, oh my God, like this is my life now, and I'm pregnant with my baby, and she just like, are you okay? We can have a timeout. Sorry, and it was a really bad time, and I had my baby like literally a week after that. And so I had a baby a week after that, and I had nothing to bring my baby home to. So it was oh, it was pretty bad. What was your question again?
I forgot myself. My question was, you answered my question. I basically said, and thank you for sharing everything that you're sharing. How are you different now?
Oh, and then okay, so after all of that, and after moving into transitional homes, after the counseling, after all of that, now it's like I want to help somebody else now. And I want to tell them, hey, they got programs out here. They got this, they got that. And I want to help somebody else now. I feel like I actually owe the community something for her, because it was horrible back then. And so the person who I am today is so much different than when I first got into the program. So I just now want to advocate and let people know, because I didn't know. I did not know how to get out. I didn't know there's people to help you get out. So now I just want to help somebody else.
Yeah, and I think that's the case for a lot of people, is that, we try to put our information out there, but unfortunately, domestic violence is a topic that people just don't want to discuss, for whatever the case, so many different reasons why, but it's a topic that a lot of people just don't touch. And so when people don't want to touch the situation or the topic, then how are these resources, talked about? So it can be difficult. That's definitely one of the obstacles, is just finding the resources. Which is another reason why I want to thank you for being, on this Facebook episode, is to, spread the word. And you talk about how you want to help other people. So can I ask you, I know that you do things. So how do you continue advocating for people in a domestic violence situation?
I use all my platforms for advocate the whole month of October. And I try to speak at as many events as I can, because I know women who have not made it out of that relationship. I know women who did the order protections and they've tried moving, but their spouse is not having it. I know people who did not make it, and that is why. Because, like I said, I didn't know. I called the DV hotline 4 times before I was even able to, go any place. So I just want people to know that there is support out there. And if you can't find or talk to anybody, I'm here. Talk to me, because I didn't have anybody. I was isolated from everybody. So
Yeah. And I hear you talking about the cycle of violence. I hear you talking about isolation and all this. And for those who didn't watch our episode 2 weeks ago, we did post an episode of basically the dynamics and the foundations of domestic violence. So there you'll learn about the cycle of violence. So usually it does take a person about 7 to 8 times to go through the cycle before leaving. So you might call like you said, you called 4 times. Somebody might call. That doesn't mean that they're ready to leave. Sometimes you can call the hotline just because you need somebody to talk to. And that can be helpful itself, just simply talking about it. So another thing I want to thank you for is just for being an advocate. There's so much that you're doing. We can take all the classes and we can learn and study domestic violence, but somebody who's actually been in the situation knows so much more, understands people so much more. I was in a virtual town hall this week. I believe it was on Wednesday. And it was really interesting. One of the speakers said a quote that really caught my eye. They said, those closest to the problem are closest to the solution. And so basically, you've been through it, you have the power, and you're more able to help somebody. You can honestly say, I understand you. I've been there. I know what you're going through. And so,
Mm-hmm.
that's great power. That's a tremendous amount of power that you have. And I see you using your experiences to really help others. And that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any last words that you want to say for those people who are watching before we sum it up here?
Yes. Yes. I would say have faith and take the first step, even if you can't see the top of the staircase. It can save your life.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, have faith. I definitely encourage anybody watching, whether you're in a situation or most likely you're gonna know somebody or you will know somebody who's in a DV situation. Because to be honest, DV is everybody's problem, so it should be everybody's solution. It affects everybody, whether you're a mother, a father, whether you're an abuser themselves or a victim or a survivor, whoever it is that you are, whether you're, the child.
Yeah.
It affects everybody, and it takes a village, everybody to solve this issue here.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and I do want to emphasize all of your accomplishments, and I am so happy that you found your way out of this cycle and you found yourself, and
Yeah.
now you own a home, you are married, you're on an advisory board here at South Suburban Family Shelters.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do have the power to make a difference here. You're going to strengthen our program as a survivor who's been through this program itself. So that's very helpful. We're really thankful to have you in our advisory board.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be there.
And also, congratulations on graduating as a registered nurse in June. Am I
Thank
right?
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. And for those who are joining, thank you for joining. Feel free to comment if you have any questions or comments. Go ahead and comment below. We'll make sure to answer those questions. And we will be here every Tuesday at same time, same place, different tea. So tune in next. Yes. Tune in next Tuesday at 2 p.m. for more tea, you all. All right. Bye.